Hello, everyone, and welcome back to X-Plane 11. I know, another general aviation airplane. It's a Cessna 152. It doesn't seem that interesting. However, I think I might be able to change your mind because this is the Just Flight Cessna 152, and everything that Just Flight's been doing lately with X-Plane has been absolutely fantastic. Link for this airplane will be in the description below if you want to check it out. It is $41.99. I have to thank xplane.org for sending me this airplane over to review for you guys because it just didn't seem like an airplane I would want. And I said, you know, I wouldn't mind doing a review on it, but I just don't think I'll fly it enough because I have the Airfoil Labs 172. However, this airplane has so much character and the flight model is so good in it. I have been having a blast in it. So I was really surprised by that. With that said, let's check it out. It's a neat airplane. In the real world, when I got my private license, I trained in a 172R. I have sat in a Cessna 152 before. They're so small, I could not fit into it. I'm 6'3", so it's not going to happen that well. Even though I know a lot of guys, they just buck it up and they just do it. And you get really cozy with your instructor in these airplanes. So basic Just Flight stuff here. We've got our door open here. We've got our chocks and our tie downs are set. We can do our weight and balance here, you know, the good old weight and balance sheet we've seen before. And then we have the fuel thing as well. Let's go ahead and refill these tanks. And our battery looks fine. Simulate spark plug fouling and vapor lock. We're going to leave that stuff by default. By default, this thing is turned off. You want that on if you want an altimeter, not in a QNH, not like the 10s, but you want like 3002, something like that. I'm not sure what this one does. I could not figure out what this one does. It does something, but I don't know what it is. On top of that, I have the cockpit reflections turned off, mainly because it makes it a lot darker outside than it is. So I have those off, but I do have the instrument reflections on. They're really cool. Checklist. You've got this little button here that'll just start the airplane 100% for you. You don't have to mess around with that. And then this is the tow it. This is, well, the ground handling if you need a pushback or something like that. Our logbook here, you can see I just did my flight, Portland to Portland, 0.7 hours, getting more familiar with the airplane. And then that's pretty much it. You have like your general audio panel there. And some other things. So let's go ahead and get started. We're on the ramp in Portland, Kilo Papa Delta X-ray, and I have World Traffic 3 running in the background, so they're just doing their business. You can see over there, it's a very busy day here in Portland as usual. There's quite a few neat fields around here. This is a freeware scenery for Portland, and I will have a link for that in the description as well. You want to check that out. But there's a lot of different airports around here. So we are going to just kind of hop around here. We'll probably do a little bit of air work. I want to do some steep turns, show you the stalling characteristics and whatnot. But let's get started. All right, welcome aboard. You can see this airplane looks pretty ancient because, well, it is. It's an older airplane. Look at, there's no rear seats here. It's just for flight training for the most part. But you can see really well back there, which is nice. Let's go ahead and close our door here. Yep, close that guy up. Let's hide our yoke for now. We don't need that guy. We'll take the control lock out and then that right there. And when you take out the control lock like that, it will remove your chocks and all that back there. So that's actually kind of nice. Parking brake is set. Primer here. Now I just got done flying this thing for 0.7 hours. So the engine's hot. I'm not going to worry about priming it, but when I first started, I gave it a couple hits. And it was perfectly fine. I don't know if that's modeled or not because I can just instantly start this thing when it's cold and dark for the most part. All right, let's go ahead and get our little checklist out here and do pre-flight. All right, control lock was removed. Parking brake is set. Avionics are off. Mixture idle cutoff. Battery master switch. All this stuff, this is just if we're doing our walk around. We're not worried about that. Everything's good to go. Before it start, checklist. Brakes are set. Circuit breakers are checked in. These circuit breakers are actually modeled. So if you want to simulate failures and stuff, you can do that right there. It's really cool. These are our panel lights. I'm going to turn that all the way down because I don't want you to miss out on the fun part. Carburetor heat is off. Avionics are off and fuel shut-off valve. We want that to be on. Now, you might be like, where the hell is this thing? I'm going to show you because we have these little determined camera views that come with it. And this is the guy right here. So this is our left tank, middle, that's shut off. And then we have the other side. Ooh. Or, nope, sorry. I'm being a dumb. I'm thinking of a different airplane. No, this is off. That is on. We want the fuel on. If you don't have that on there, it will not start. I promise you that. So fuel shutoff valve is now on. Engine start. Let's go ahead and go. Battery master switch can come on. Go there. And here's our little, our instrument lights. Now, what's really cool is that this one here in the middle, this one is like our stuff over here. And the big one is our main panel lights. Now, this airplane is pretty dark inside because of the way it's designed. So we're just going to keep these on so you can see what we're doing here today. All right, alternator switch can come on. There we go. Beacon light is on. Mixture is going to go to rich. There it is, full rich. Throttle go a ½ inch open. I know it seems like a lot. Prop area, we'll call it clear. Here, let's go and turn on Trek IR. Let's open our window here. Clear prop. Start the other one, or open the other one too, so you can hear the engine sounds pretty good. All right, so prop area is clear. Ignition switch goes to start. So what's cool is you put your little key in here like that, and then we go over this way, then to both, and then we're gonna just go to start, and it will start up pretty quick. So that's all you gotta do right there. It's fired up. I'm gonna bring back my power about 800 RPM here, or 900. There we go. All right, throttle's adjusted. Oil pressure is right there. It's still low right now, but it is barely there in the green, as you can see. It's climbing. Oil temperature looks good. Throttle's around 800 to 1,000, so that's good there. And we're ready to taxi. Taxi area will be clear. Parking brake will be released. Throttle, and we'll check our brakes and steering and whatnot. So let's get flying. There's not much to, this airplane as far as starting it up and everything. So let's go ahead, and we're going to lean right now. You'll hear it get a little rough, but right there is good. And then forward a little bit. Right there is going to be perfect, so we don't foul those spark plugs. Parking brakes released, and let's go taxiing and check the brakes. Brakes are good. Now, one thing that's really cool about this plane, you'll notice, is the flight model on it's fantastic. Let me show you the outside view. Look how wobbly this thing is. So if I give a little bit of power and I go to the right, look, the wings, they rock back and forth. It's just got so much character to this little guy. There we go. And as we're taxiing out here, I'm going to go ahead and pull power back a little bit. Watch out for this guy on the belt loader. And we'll turn our taxi light on. There we go. And you can see the taxi light right here. Just like that. And before we get going here, let's go ahead and listen to our ATIS so we know what's going on here. Well, maybe. It's 12835, I believe, here. 12835. Let's go to 35.
Portland INTL
there it is.
2100 Zulu weather. Wind calm. Visibility more than 10. Sky conditions 4600 scattered. Temperature 2.11. Altimeter 3022. Arriving runways 28 right, 28 left.
The little Dash 8 taking off. There he goes, Horizon Air. So cool. So cool. All right, so we can go ahead and close this window over here. We don't need that one open right now, but we're going to taxi down this way. You see where that Southwest is holding short there? Oh, look at this. That doesn't seem safe. You've got them using the cross runway and got a Southwest landing there. Yeah, that probably wouldn't happen in the real world. That's way too close for comfort there. Let's watch his landing. Oh, man, nice one. Although I don't know why whenever the World Traffic airplanes, the Bluebell ones, when they touch down, they shoot smoke like straight up in the air instead of behind them. Not sure what that's about. So you can see just how cramped this airplane is. There's just not a lot of room in here. And the windows are very low. So as tall as I would be sitting in here like this, I would not be able to see under the wings. Which in a 172, I can just easily kind of poke my head down a little bit and look under the wing. So we're going to go down here. We're going to take off after this 737. We are going to wait a little bit before we do that so we don't hit his wake turbulence. That is modeled. And we don't want to kill ourselves on a 152 behind a 737 taking off. No, thank you. We will do a run up too. All right, he's already adding that power and he's out of there. Look at that. Goodbye, Southwest. Probably see him go out the back here. There he goes. Just as that other Southwest is clear of the runway. Make sure there's nobody over here. Yeah, I don't think there is. All right, we'll do our run up. Actually, we'll probably do it right here before we get in the way. Make sure there's nobody around. Nope, seems like it's clear. That's all right. I'm just going to do it right here. Right in this little box to the right. Out of the way of everybody. Winds are calm, so we don't have to point the airplane into the wind. This actually will go good right here. So let's come to a stop. There we go. Parking brake is set. Yep. We'll go ahead and throttle up to 1700. Let's get our checklist out here so we can double check everything, make sure we are doing it as we should. So before takeoff, it's called the ground check actually. Parking brake set, 1700 RPM right there. Magnetos, we're going to check these guys. We'll go down to the right one first. There's our drop right there in RPM. Back to both. Then we go left side. There's the drop in RPM. Back to both. Those look good. Mags check. Vacuum 4.6 to 5.4. We are right there. We're looking good in the green. Oil temperature is looking good in the green. Below 245. Oil pressure is good. Ammeter is down here. Where's it at? It's over here somewhere. I think it's hiding. Nope. In this airplane, where is the ammeter? There it is right there. Okay, we're good there. Carburetor heat. Let's check it. We should hear a cycle in the RPM. Small, but it's there. Okay. Bring the throttles back to idle. All right, we are ready for takeoff. So before takeoff check, battery master is on, alt's on, flight instruments. We're going to double check these. This thing does like to wander when you first get it. I've already done this in my flight before. You can see we're just about 5 toward the north from 3. So we're looking great there, but by default, it was way off. So keep an eye on that. Flight instruments are checked. Mixture is set. We're going to go full rich. Primer is locked. Flaps. We're not going to use any. Trim down here. We want it for takeoff. Pull it back a little bit right there on that little white line. Trims are good. Controls. Let's go ahead and box them. Go forward, left. Can't see under the wings here, but we can see the shadow. You see it moving out there. See it? And then we go back, left, right, and flight controls are free and correct. External lights is required. We're going to do a landing and a strobe. So landing, taxi comes off, strobe light. You're going to hear little ticks from the strobe light. All right. External lights are good. Doors are closed. Take off. We're going to climb out at 65 knots. We're going to rotate at 55. Let's do it. Go. Parking brake off. Close the window here. And watch ourselves. I'll hold short for the dash 8. That's landing. All right, horizon's down. Let's go ahead and do a lineup and wait. Flight line is clear. Parking brake released. Let's go flying, folks. A little bit of power, not too much needed here. Nobody else is behind us. We're not holding up the show, so that's always good. And as soon as that dash 8 clears the runway, we will be taking off. We'll make a left turn towards the north. We'll climb up to about 2,000 feet. And we're going to overfly the airport to our east. All right, here we go. Lining up here. Did he already exit? Man, that was quick. Nope, it's 737. Yeah, he already... Oh, okay. He probably disappeared, honestly. Okay, so he's clear. Let's go. Go throttle up. Full. One thing I love about this flight model is the P factor and torque is not over the top. It's definitely manageable. Now, it always makes this little click sound, and I don't know what that is. There's 55. Ease on back, and we're flying. We're going to climb out initially at 65 knots, so get that nose up. Goodbye, Portland. Alaska 737. You can trim for 65 knots here, too. Another thing with this flight model, you do have to stay coordinated flight. A lot of airplanes, small GA airplanes like this, they don't require it, really. I mean, in the real world, yes, you do have to coordinate your flight, but an X-plane, at least, you don't have to worry about it. Which in this airplane, it's not the case. Goodbye, Portland. All right, let's go turn to the... About, we'll do... let's go, yeah, 060. So I'm just using that little bit of left rudder here. Climbing out at 65. Back this way. Rolling off. Now we can start our cruise climb. Cruise climb in this airplane is going to be 80 knots. So let's go ahead and pitch for 80 knots. And our airport's right over there to the right. But what we're doing is we're trying to stay away from their flight path of their departures out of Portland. And we're just going to climb to 2,000 feet here. Nothing too crazy. Pitch down for 80 knots. I see some cars down there on the freeway. Very cool. On the freeway. Some cloud shadows. You see some sun poking out. Actually, the sun's poking out over there by the airport where we're going. So there's 80 knots. Looking good. It's checked. We can do our checks here. So checklist for climb. External lights is required. Mixture is set. Throttle is full power. Cruise climb speed 80 knots. That's achieved. Cruise will be next. Power, blah, 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 blah. Trim, descent. Carb heat will be as required. I'm not worried about carb heat today. I don't think we're going to need it. Don't think we're going to need it. What's the OAT showing? Oh, yeah. It's not bad at all. It's about 65 degrees out. Yeah, we'll be just fine here. We'll come up to 2,000 feet. Watching out for those departures coming out of Portland. And now we're going to just kind of dice around here. So we're going to go to the right, back to the east, using a little bit of right rudder. But you know what I'm going to do? I think we're going to do our, we'll do some air work over here. This is away from the approach path from the airport. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll do some air work on this side. Bring that nose back down. Get back down to 2,000 feet. We can adjust our power. Only need about 2,200 RPM or so here. Nothing too crazy. There's 2,000 right there. We're going to go to the north. Let the nose come down a little bit more. There's the north right there. All right. Let's do a little bit of air work here. We're at 2,000 feet. We have 2,200 RPM set. I'm going to add a little bit of power here, not too much. And we're going to do a tight, we're going to do a steep turn to the right, which is a 45-degree angle. And we're going to try to maintain 2,000 feet the entire time we do it. So to do it, what's really great is you want to you pitch for it with your trim. So I'm going to go back on the trim a little bit here and start our turn. There's the steep turn right there. Maintain it. Let it nose come down a little bit. Try to get the big picture here. There we go. Looking all right here. About 2,000 feet. A little bit of power creeping in. That nose drop a little bit. It does steep turns quite nicely and then roll off to the north. Let's go back to the left. Got to really yank on it this way. There's an airplane departing. We screwed the left one up a little bit. That's all right. Let's get configured here for a power off stall. So we're going to pull our power here, maintain 2,000 feet. We're going to lose some altitude. There we go. Dump in the flaps. Now the flap sounds in this airplane, I never heard a Cessna sound like that. Usually it's a little kind of sound. That thing sounds like something big. Here comes the stall horn. Recover the stall. Looks good. All right. In post, I'm going to have to turn that down because that thing is unbelievably loud. It really is. All right. We only lost a couple hundred feet on that stall. Let's bring it up. I've noticed that the airplane model doesn't have much of a buffet, though. It doesn't buffet, and I don't feel a wing drop. It starts stalling, and you can verify that it's stalling based on your vertical speed going down. So that's the reason why I start the recovery process, but it doesn't seem to really want to stall much. Let's go a turn to the east here. We're at 2,000 feet. Pull our power back down to 2,200 RPM. Coordinated flight. As we turn to the east here. We'll roll off to the east here, just like this. All right, let's do a power on stall. So to do that, flaps are up. Everything's good. We're going to pull our power just to about 1,500 RPM or so. Let the airplane pitch up. Lead all this airspeed off. Around 60 knots, we're going to bring the nose down. There we go. Maintain about 60, and then we're going to add power. Let's go ahead and climb. Add that full power here. Have to use that rudder to keep this thing going. And we're going to stall the airplane based on angle of attack rather than slow stall speed here. A little bit too much. Here it comes. There you go. Okay. So you get it. It doesn't really have much of a stall to it. Really doesn't. Sadly. And for such a training airplane, you would think that they would have that modeled pretty good. One of the best models that you can get is the Airfoil Labs 172. That thing does what it's intended to do. All right, so we are going to go to this airport right off our nose here. And we're going to kind of just shoot across the river here and make a left base for the runway. Make sure we're away from everybody else. We're going to descend to about 1,000 feet here. And to do this, let's go ahead and check out what a forward slip's like in this airplane. So let's do a forward slip. You can hear the rushing of the air here. And we've got about 1,000 feet per minute, holding around 80 knots, which is great. That's what you want. Don't have to use very much aileron at all here. It's just a great forward slip. And we'll release it here slowly. Let's do the left side. Not too bad. All right, roll off here. Let's add our power back in. Let's watch our altitude here. We'll do about 1,200 for now because we have this big hill over here we're on, and then it drops down into the valley. Let's maintain 1,200 for now. At 80 knots, that works great for me. It's a very slow airplane. Very slow and underpowered airplane. All right, let's do our landing checks here. Descent's good. Approach and landing. Airspeed will be 60 to 70. Flaps up. Flaps will be set 85 max. Airspeed 55 to 65. And trim for 65 knots. That's all we need. All right. Got the field in sight over there. Descend a little bit more here. About 1,000 feet's where I want it, right here. And it doesn't take much to transfer this airplane from being at a cruise speed to a landing configuration. It really doesn't take much at all. Believe it or not. Our airport over there. Watching out for the departures coming out of Portland. So what we're going to do is we're going to land here at this airport. A little bit more power. And then we'll taxi back. Since the winds are calm, we'll just taxi down and then take off back towards Portland, and we'll land in Portland. Hopefully we don't kill ourselves in the process because we don't have the ATC module running. I don't know what they're going to be doing, so we're just going to have to keep our eyes out. All right, there's the runway right there. Let's start pulling our power back here a little bit. We're well within the first arc for our first set of notch of flaps, so let's do it. Let the nose come on down. A little bit of rudder here. We're gonna come out right on the glide slope here. Okay, looking good. And we power for altitude and we pitch for our airspeed. So bring that nose up here. Let's go to the next notch of flaps. And sometimes this airplane wants to fly at around 60 knots on final, but 65 is what you want. So you've got to add that power. We'll go final on final. There's our final setting of flaps. So flaps are full, and we're going to pitch for 65 knots. We're going to use our power for our altitude here. Not much to it. It flies very nicely. It really does. And it's got great ground effect. You'll notice that when we land here, that the airplane will float pretty darn well. We might just make this a full stop landing. Oh, we can go back to Portland. It'll be fun. There we go. I can sense that we're starting to dive down on the glide slope a little bit, so we'll bring that nose up, holding that 65 knots. And we'll go to idle power when we come over the piano keys. A little bit more power there, maintain that 65 knots. But we give that altitude. Looking good here. Runway 7. It's clear. Over the piano keys, we're going to go ahead and go idle. Get into the round out here. A little bit of left rudder. Not too much. Bring that nose up, up, up. Let's go ahead and bring our flaps up. And we can easily make this runway, this turn off here. It's taxiway, not runway. Okay. We made it here. We're going to take Alpha down and we're going to turn around and go back the other way since winds are calm. And we can do whatever we want. All right, as we taxi down, I noticed in the replay the airplane doesn't remember. Well, the replay doesn't remember the strobe lights being on. Looked like the beacon light was stuck, and it also was retracting the flap as soon as it touched the ground for some reason. We didn't do any of that, so I don't know what that's all about, but that's all right. No harm, no foul. Let's get rolling back to Portland, and we'll enjoy the flight. We're gonna go. We'll climb to 2,000 feet. We'll fly to the south of the field, and then we'll probably land on the cross runway, honestly. I think that'd be fun. That way we don't disturb the airplanes trying to land on the 10s. There's a neat airplane over here. A Lancer or something? I don't know what that was. A tail dragger. There's another one down there. It's like a racer of some sort. All right. I know we're taxiing like southwest, but that's okay. We want to get back in the air as soon as possible here. Really enjoying this airplane, though. Really am enjoying it. All right, let's slow down here. We'll just take off at the intersection of Alpha 7. Double check our trim. That is set. Mixture's rich. We didn't worry about leaning it for taxi or anything here. No need for it. We're going to do a turn out towards the south. Yep, towards the south. All right, let's go. $55 on back. 65 initially. We'll start a turnout around 800 feet. Ooh, weather is reloading. Looks like the clouds are starting to dissipate a bit. Starting to get some more sunshine. It's still climbing out at 65. All right, let's head back to Portland. And let's start our turn out here about 210. At 1,000 feet now, we'll start pitching the nose down. Let's go ahead and get our cruise climb going. 80 knots. Staying away from the departure end of those runways. There we go. 80 knots is looking good. And we'll climb up to 2,000 feet, and we will trim it out for cruise flight so we can see how it behaves in cruise. Really putting the airplane through the paces today, but it's a fantastic airplane. The only thing that I could say that is a con is the stall characteristics seem a little bit off. But as far as the actual handling in flight characteristics of it landing and taking off, it's phenomenal. There's a cool view. You can see a airplane landing right there. Another Horizon. Looks like a Dash 8 out there landing on 10 left. And we are going to land on this cross runway right here. So we're starting our descent down now. And we will be pretty much on a right base before you know it. So let's go ahead and pull our power here. And we'll turn left. I want to make sure that there's no airplanes around here. So let's do some clearing turns. That looks pretty good over there. I don't see any landing lights out in the distance. We'll go this way. And send about 1,500 feet. We'll try to grab the glide slope at 1,500 for our visual approach. Downtown Portland. All right, yeah. You can see the big, huge hangars there. That's the cargo facilities right there. And there's actually a National Guard and all that over there, too. It's a really neat airport. Always loved Portland. Let's bring the nose up a little bit here. Add our power back in. Send it a little bit too far. That's all right. We're sightseeing. We're looking at everything. See the highway down there? That's pretty cool. Let's go ahead just for the hell of it. Let's go ahead and make time advance here, and we'll do some evening flying here so you can see the night lighting in this airplane. There we go. And I love world traffic because you can see, look at that. You can see an airplane out on approach for miles out, which is really cool. Nothing there. Got the runway in sight. Right there. That's the cargo facility. National Guard. There's that plane just landed. This guy up here won't be an issue for us at all. Got the runway. We're going to be on a right base for it. A little bit of right rudder with the turn. Staying coordinated. This is going to be good right here. We're waiting to grab the Vassies or Pappies, whatever they have on that runway. Looks like it's going to be Pappies, and they're all white. So let's bring the nose down. Start our turn. Pull our power here. Because we want to get this thing into the white arc so we can put our flaps in. There's the first light there. First notch of flaps on the glide slope. We're going to start pitching for that 65 knots. Next set of flap. That's good there. There's our power. I'm going to start trimming it out. Make our lives easier. There we go. That's pretty good. 65 knots. Okay, we'll go final on final. So final setting of flaps here. We'll try to redeem ourselves on this landing. I love the reflection on the nose of the airplane. That is so cool. Keep an eye on that airplane that's landing over there. Let's get back up on the glide slope. There we go. There's nobody on the runway. You're clear to land. We have nobody waiting over here on the taxiway either. Tad high, bring that nose down. Well, bring the nose up, but I pull the power. There we go. Looking pretty good right here. We're going to go ahead and pull the power over the piano keys. There we go to idle. Such a neat airplane. We're going to maintain speed all the way down the runway here. There's that airplane that just landed. It was a Continental Airlines. No, that's somebody taxiing, it looks like. Just landed on the right runway. Was he landing on the right? Yep, that was him. I thought he was on the left runway. Whoopsie. Again, we're not trying to be super realistic with our air traffic today. Let's go and taxi down and we'll head to the ramp. Boy, it must be rush hour. Look at all these airplanes here. All right, we can turn our landing or taxi light off here. Oop, wrong one. And we'll taxi right in here to the ramp to our right. Pretty much where we began the day. Pull forward a little bit more than that. We'll park over here. Right on this T for the wings. Tie down there. There we go. Right there is perfect. Pull the park brake out. There we go. And we can go ahead and let's just bring the sun up a little bit here so we can see what we're doing. All right, for shutdown, we just go power. Oh, we got mixture off. Kill it. Go to off on this guy. Let's turn our panel lights off, actually. Make sure all our switches are good to go. There, it's being stupid. Come on. Wrap it down. There we go. You leave beacon on. That's fine. Yep. He goes to off. Keys out. Whatever. There we go. How about it? That is going to do it for this flight of the Just Flight Cessna 152. I had a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.